And managed to be lucky enough to walk away with no injuries other than
Justin
minor
Harper
scars
knows
on
all
my
too
arms.
well how quickly things can change in a blink of an eye.
I had an accident on the highway in winter where I ended up going into the ditch and rolled my vehicle twice over the roof. I had someone cut in front of me who was trying to get in between me and another vehicle on the highway, and I swerved a little bit, got caught in the gravel that led into the ditch, and it just sucked me in, and then snow in the middle of the ditch caught my wheels, and before you know what's happening, you're either walking away from it or unfortunately you may be driven away from it in an ambulance.
Harper was lucky. He managed to walk away from the rollover with nothing but scars on his arms, mainly because he was wearing his seatbelt.
That's one of the main reasons that I attribute being able to walk away with no injuries.
Harper teaches middle school and high school grades at Noble Central School in Nobleford. These students are right around the age when you start thinking about learning to drive and getting your license. But Harper says he hopes his students take to heart the seriousness of what can happen if you don't wear your seatbelt.
And I know how often things like this happen, so it's just a good message to get across to younger students because they don't think it's going to happen to them. It's really easy for all of us to think like that at times, and when we have an opportunity to demonstrate the severity of what could happen to them, it's always nice to just add a little bit more impact.
His students recently participated in a rollover simulation demonstrated by SafeyCity.
We have a rollover simulator that teaches the kids the importance of wearing their seatbelt and what happens if they don't wear their seatbelt in a crash.
Here, 2 crash test dummies, one adult and one child-sized, are belted into the vehicle before it rolls multiple times. The demonstration is done again. This time, only one dummy wears a seatbelt, the other doesn't.
And so he's been moving all around in the vehicle, so chances are the person that's wearing their seatbelt thought that they were protecting themselves.
Then it's done a third time with neither dummy strapped in. Eventually, both are thrown from the vehicle. When watching a simulated demonstration like this, it's easy for some kids to laugh. After all, they're only dummies, right?
I don't like when people make jokes out of it because they just don't really understand. My grandma was involved in a car accident like this. She twisted her spine. She's in a wheelchair now.
Yet it's surprising how many of these students admit to not always buckling up.
How many people don't wear their seatbelts if they're just right here sticking within Nobleford? Okay, so a lot of you guys.
Do you wear your seatbelt?
Sometimes.
Are you going to wear your seatbelt from now on?
Definitely.
Grade 7 student Keegan Schlemp says he personally has never known anyone who's been in an accident and doesn't always buckle up even when riding with his teenage brother. But the message does seem to hit home.
I wear my seatbelt.
Yeah, what made you decide that?
The kid flying out the window.
And for others, it's a no-brainer.
Do you wear your seatbelt?
Yes, all the time.
This
Sure.
is serious stuff for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't like when people make jokes out of it. I'm like, everyone's joking about it. It just doesn't make sense.
For Go Southern Alberta, I'm Jeannette Rocher.